CBDCs itself, there are two directions, two streams. It's retail CBDC and the wholesale CBDC. So what is the difference between retail CBDC and wholesale CBDC? Basically, the intended use and the target group. I mean, retail CBDC is the general public, it's the normal customers like me and you when we're going to shops, when we want to pay. And the retail CBDC, for instance, is known also with the project of the digital euro. I mean, it has started 2021, the activities are ongoing, and this will be a kind of alternative for the people in the Eurosystem, in the European Union, as an, again, additional payment currency. And on the other side, we have the wholesale CBDC. Here, the wholesale CBDC is used for a limited group. It's for banks, for financial institutions, for interbank payments, for large-scale payments. And here we are also exploring. So last year, we had kind of exploration phase, but from 2023, we started exploration on wholesale CBDC. And let's deep dive on wholesale CBDC. I mean, we see that there is a kind of evolution of the financial market. I mean, we see that with the distributed ledger technology, we see with wholesale CBDC, we see with tokenization. In general, there is a move in form of going to a digital world. And when we speak about tokenization, it includes a big scope or the whole range or value chain, such as issuance, custody, clearing, but as well as settlement as well. And I mean, we know the benefits listed here of the blockchain, of the distributed ledger technology. And we have, for instance, also the German Electronic Security Act. We have the DLT pilot regime, which supports, which paves the way forward for tokenization of securities and also for an efficient capital market. But nevertheless, there is still some missing. I mean, we have this Act, that's good. We have DLT, but we miss, when it comes to central bank money, the bridge between the external, between the DLT systems, DLT market systems or architecture or infrastructures, and the traditional settlement systems. So the bridge is missing. I will repeat the word bridge several times in this presentation. And and on the other side, we have also from the market a preference of using central bank money for the settlement of their DLT-based transactions. Why? Because of this principle here, principle for financial market infrastructure, principle 9. It states somehow, or it states from a financial stability perspective, the settlement of critical transactions, stable coins, crypto tokens, and commercial bank tokens are not suitable for critical transactions. I mean, this is based on the principle, and that's where we come in place as a central bank with central bank money, which is reliable, I mean, which is the most liquid asset. And we, as a result of this need, we are exploring with wholesale CBDC, as you can see above. So wholesale CBDC, again, the target group is limited only for banks and financial institutions. We define wholesale CBDC also with the feature of programmability, for instance, by using smart contracts. And again, we will see in the upcoming slides also the activities around wholesale CBDC. And the benefits of wholesale CBDC can be seen in this slide. I mean, wholesale CBDC in general offers new solutions for different use cases. When we have here a look in this slide, we see on the left side the domestic payments. I mean, for the domestic payments with the existing RTGS systems, maybe right now there is not a big need on wholesale CBDC because they can optimize their systems if there is a need, but nevertheless, there is a possibility, or it should be explored, how wholesale CBDC can contribute in that. We have then the two use cases, DVP, delivery versus payment, so security settlement, which needs to be optimized. Because right now, the existing solutions, what I've already mentioned, between the asset side, the side where securities reside, and the cash settlement, are not efficient enough. So there is a need of a bridge, and with wholesale CBDC, we can enable a secure and efficient leg bridge. So bridging the payment system with the asset side. And we have, of course, also the cross-border payments, payment versus payment, where for the moment there is also less efficiency. It's costly. There are different intermediate entities in the chain of PVP, and wholesale CBDC can and will play here also a big role. And if we look into the future, vision, I mean, there were also published different papers, also in the Eurosystem, but also around the world, of the need of to think about and to explore how the future would look like. And there were a discussion regarding a kind of capital market union, where different assets are in one, let's say, ledger, in order to utilize the benefits of this, also in terms of speed, efficiency, also automation. And wholesale CBDC is considered here also as a foundation of new infrastructures. We are at the beginning, let's say. We need to explore, we need to do research. And as a message in this slide is that clearly that we are dealing with the Digital Euro project, with wholesale CBDC, and also with a vision of future financial market infrastructures. And that means we are dealing or we are very active in the three main elements when it comes to the future digital ecosystem. Okay, so this picture here, or this figure here, shows a little bit wholesale CBDC, the activities around the world. This stresses out that different actors around the world are having POCs, experiments, or other kind of explorations in relation to wholesale CBDC. And when we go one step forward, we have also the explorations done in the Eurosystem. So last year, in the Eurosystem, the ECB organized the so-called exploratory work. What was the idea? The idea was to explore new technologies which can be used for the settlement of DLT-based transactions in central bank money. And the idea was to provide to the market participants three solutions. They can explore for several months, and they can explore these solutions in test environment, but also in production environment. So real money was sent in real production environments, and the three solutions which were explored, these three solutions called or kind of interoperability solutions, which created the bridge between the traditional payment system and the market DLT platforms. And I mean, you see here clearly one solution was the solution of the Bundesbank called the trigger solution. Then we had Banca d'Italia with TIPS hashlink and Banco de France with their DL3S solution. So these three solutions, and the exploratory work was a success. So many participants were involved, and their feedback was clearly that we had efficiency. DLT is a good technology. We need to look forward. Nevertheless, we received a clear roadmap from them that it's not a stop. We should not stop with exploratory work. We should provide something to the market in the Eurosystem. This was the clear message. And here are some information regarding the solution, what the Bundesbank provided, the so-called trigger solution. So we had a DLT solution. So the trigger solution was a DLT, a blockchain application. And again, it acted as a bridge between the RTGS system, traditional payment system, and foreign external blockchains or platforms. And I mean, it was used again to settle in T2 with central bank money. So in foreign chains, the market participants traded with assets, basically with securities. And on our side, we orchestrated the payment in central bank money. So our blockchain, of course, had smart contracts, provided also the possibility to participants to deploy their smart contract in order to enhance their use cases. And our solution was based on Hyperledger Fabric version 2.5. And the ones of you who are dealing with Hyperledger Fabric knows the privacy features of this by using the concept of private data collection. This here is just an overview regarding the ecosystem, an overview of the trigger solution itself. You see above the market DLT platforms, this is the blockchain operated by the participants or by an operator. And in this blockchain or in this DLT, the participants traded their securities, their assets. And then we have in the middle the trigger solution. It was also a blockchain. So the participants had the possibility through a API or U2A or also form automated through a node to include the information, the payment information through the smart contract of the trigger solution. And these informations were used in order to trigger, look down, in the real traditional payment system in T2, the payment. And the information are then transformed back to the blockchain and were used in order to complete the whole transactions, the DVP, the delivery versus payment. So, yeah, as already mentioned, I mean, we see that there is a kind of transformation of the financial system, and we see the need that we as a Eurosystem, we need to provide solutions. We have seen with the exploratory work, it was a big success, but and we see that it's possible to deal with DLT-based transactions, but nevertheless, we see that the exploratory work had not covered all use cases. And this was also the signal of the market that we need to go one step forward. And that's the reason why the Eurosystem announced, I think 2-3 months ago, their two-track approach. So track 1 is Project Pontes, and track 2 is Project Appia. So what's the idea? The idea is to deal, again, with the immediate need of the market for DLT-based transactions, and also to open the way for a future digital central bank money. And Project Pontes is the so-called short-term solution. So to provide a solution to the market as soon as possible, a solution which has the principle of interoperability. So a bridge, Pontes comes as the origin from Latin origin, so Pontes means bridge, and the idea is to provide a bridge between external world and the traditional payment system, similar like the exploratory work, but more enhanced. And the idea of Appia is more the long-term perspective, dealing with more requirements, analyzing, researching regarding how the future financial market infrastructure could look like. This was announced, and this is the strategy which has also started. And if you look in that slide, we see a kind of timeline. And please have a look on the two blue lines in this slide. So we see the pilot phase and the enhancements. So what does it mean? So this timeline belongs just to Pontes. So as mentioned, Pontes is a short-term solution. And when we see that the idea is to provide to the market until Q3, Q4 next year the Pontes solution, but in a, let's say, in a pilot phase, in a limited version. And the next step would be by 2028 to offer to the market the target solution, the final solution. So you see, within 12 to 15 months, the Eurosystem will provide to the market an interoperability solution which bridges these two worlds, and the full solution will be provided by 2028. And now you see above potential trials and experiments. It was acknowledged that the market needs to wait until Q3, Q4 next year for the pilot phase, for the pilot solution. So the idea is now maybe to provide to the market trials and experiments as last year, as I've mentioned, the exploratory work. This right now is going to be analyzed. We are in close contact also with the market, if there is an interest for this step. And we are also analyzing insights with the other central banks, the possibility to reactivate trials and experiments. So that's regarding the timeline. about the project Pontes. So you need to keep in mind Pontes is the short-term solution. The short-term solution will be divided in two phases. The pilot phase, the pilot solution, Q3, Q4 next year, and the final solution, 2028. This is Pontes. And then we are coming, okay, before coming to the end part, a quick overview regarding the pilot Pontes, what will be provided next year as mentioned. So you see the pilot Pontes is the best of three solutions. I mentioned to you that last year we had the solution of the Italian, French and German. These were explored. Now the idea is the best elements, features of the solution to combine and to create one solution. And this is how the pilot Pontes looks like. We see on the right side the enhanced interoperability interface. This will be the entry gate for customers in order to speak with our application. And logically, we see in the middle the Eurosystem blockchain, the Eurosystem DLT. And we see on the left side the T2 interface. This is the bridge with the traditional payment system. So this is the holistic solution. And the idea is for the pilot Pontes that the market participants would have the possibility for two payment options. One option is again just to use the solution as a bridge. So you trigger here a payment, the solution sends the payment initiation to the payment system, and there the payment is done. Or the second payment option is through tokens. So inside our blockchain we will have a kind of euro token which also can be used for the settlement. So this is the idea, this is the high-level overview of the pilot Pontes. And now coming back to project Appia. So Appia, the long-term solution, the long-term vision, track 2 of the Eurosystem. And again, as mentioned several times, the exploration activities last year were great, but nevertheless, we see that the use cases or the full benefit of the blockchain were not leveraged. And the idea is here to go to a broader range of applications for DLT. I mean, we have explored with the settlement part, but the chain is longer. With Appia, we want also to deal with issuance, custody, clearing, and of course settlement. And the other part is also analyzing the policy implications, such as monetary policy or legal frameworks. And the other topic which is important for Appia is also fragmentation risks. So many platforms, so this is kind of fragmentation. And with Appia, the aim is to have, maybe at the final stage, a holistic integrated solution. So these are, let's say, the three core ideas of the work under the Appia umbrella. And what are the next steps in the timeline? The next steps are clear. The ECB plans to launch or to publish a launch paper where these details, the first thoughts, the first investigations are put in there, such as the scope of Appia, the principles of our infrastructure and governance, and the whole timeline until a kind of final picture of Appia. And finally, when we speak about Appia, we are speaking about the future financial market infrastructure. And one question is, of course, the design option. Are we going to have a shared ledger, one ledger, or many ledgers connected with each other through interoperability solutions? And I mean, we know if we use just a shared ledger, we have just one ledger, we have the benefits of automation. It's fast. You have a clear governance. On the other, you have a single source of truth. But on the other side, you have also full interoperability. It provides maybe efficiency, flexibility, and even scalability. Because with the high traffic and the high also non-functional requirements, maybe one ledger cannot deal. So you see there are these two main design options also being explored under the activities of Appia when it comes to the future of financial market infrastructures. So, I mean, that's it, the overview about how the future of the financial market infrastructure is being shaped by using the DLT and wholesale CBDC. Thank you very much. So.